Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Unplugged set review coming right up. Mr. Clicks Flicks is brought to you by Lucky Dice Cafe out of Huntsville, Alabama, home of the ROC. No matter if you're in the United States or around the world, Lucky Dice Cafe has the winning roll for all your gaming needs. You can visit them at luckydicecafe.com or on their Facebook page using the link found in the description of this video. Alright guys, it's that time again. We have had the TMNT Unplugged set. It's been out for a few weeks. We've had some chances to play with it, and I believe it is time to do a set review. This is what I call my Zero or Hero segment. Basically, I will give each figure a quick thumbs up, quick thumbs down, maybe give a reason that I did that, maybe not. So let's go ahead and jump over to HC Realms and take a look at it. Alright guys, so here we are on HC Realms. We are looking at the TMNT Unplugged set. They have it listed as TMNT 4. We're going to be looking at all these figures. I'm going to be judging them against 300 point competitive. And maybe if I feel like the figure's, you know, okay but not great, I'll let you know that too, or if it's just going to be good for sealed. But here we are with number 1, Leonardo. For 50 points, his base stats aren't terrible. They're also not great. 7 movement with sidestep, 10 attack with precision strike, 18 defense with toughness, and 3 damage. He has a trait called throw across the screen. When Leonardo hits an adjacent character, after resolution you may place that character into a square adjacent to Leonardo, then use Force Blast targeting that character at no cost. That can be a pretty powerful ability depending on what map you're on. If you're like on the Amok in Time underground part and you want to Force Blast them into you know, some blocking terrain or something like that, there could be some room for shenanigans there. There's another turtle that has that same ability that might be pretty good, but you need to hit, and with a 10 attack, I don't know how much you're going to actually hit. Next we have Michelangelo. He's also 50 points, has a 7 movement with a special, which is power move, power, modify attack +1, move up 3 squares, then make up to 2 close attacks. So it's basically a mini charge flurry. It's not bad. Again, we suffer from a 10 attack. Okay, not great. I have other things I'd want to spend 50 points on. Honestly, I think the throw across the screen trait's better anyway. Then here we are with Raphael, number 3 in the set. He has the same special as Michelangelo. He's also 50 points. Has that 7 movement with the special, 10 attack with precision strike, 18 defense with toughness, 3 damage. Again, okay, not great. Donatello is more of the same, except with his Quake, and he has this throw across the screen trait. I believe that he might be able to pick all the characters. So if you're in a group and you hit them all, and then you can, you know, place them somewhere else and Force Blast them, that might be awesome at 50 points. Now if it's only one character, then it's, you know, as good as Leonardo. 10 attack isn't great, but you know, it's something. Again, no charge or anything really kind of hurts these guys. At 50 points now, I would expect at least that first click to have charge instead of on click number 4. The Shredder illusions for 20 points aren't that great, but whenever you take them in the context of the Shredder Rare that we're going to talk about, they're actually pretty good. But on their own, I wouldn't pay 20 points just for them. Then we have a Rock Soldier for 35 points. Has 6 movement with sidestep, 10 attack with super strength, 17 defense with invulnerability, and 3 damage. And then when they're KO'd, you can generate a heavy object in that square. For 35 points, you know, basically you're looking at using 2 Colossal Retaliators, and these guys don't bring anything special to the table, so probably not going to run them. But in sealed, these guys are actually pretty good because invulnerability is a pretty heavy reducer, and there's a lot of 2 and 3 damages in this set, so it's going to give this guy a lot of survivability. So if you pull him, you're going to want to think about running him. Then we have a Foot Soldier. This is the number 7 with the axe. It has not very good stats to say the least. It's only 15 points though. It has one trait, a special on its movement, and a special on its attack. The special on its movement is called Swarm at the Screen's Edge. When Foot Soldier would be KO'd, roll a d6 and add the number of other friendly characters KO'd this turn. If the result is 5 or more, instead turn the character to click number 1 and place it in your starting area. That could be pretty cool. Again, though, if you're only KOing one figure a turn, you got to roll a 6. But for some pawns to throw to the meat grinder, might be okay. That 5 movement, though, it's going to take you a while to get into the fray. Then that special on that movement is called 2D Movement Sidestep. When Foot Soldier uses it, it can only move in a direct path. Okay, And then the special on its attack is Axe, Blades, Claws, Fangs. Foot Soldier's attack rolls of 11 or 12 are critical hits. That's pretty awesome. For 15 points, these guys aren't bad. They're just not great. And at 15 points, you're trying to argue against a Colossal Retaliator at this point, or like 2 pretty decent equipments. These guys aren't better than that, and that's the problem that they're running into. They're okay, but not great. Foot Soldier Boomerang, also 15 points, has that Swarm at the Edge of Screen trait, has that 2D movement special on its movement, and the special on its attack is called Boomerang, and it's when Foot Soldier would miss a ranged attack by 1 or 2, once per turn you may reroll that attack roll. It's really flavorful. I like it, but again, just low stats. Getting sort of a mini built-in prob's good, but you're only dealing 2 damage. I'm running a Colossal Retaliator instead. Next, we have number 9, Bebop. He's 50 points. Has the animal keyword, which could be good. And he is shifting focus, so you're going to get 2 slightly different flavors here. He has 3 range, single target. Has shifting focus trait. Then he has 1 special on his attack, which is uppercut. When Bebop hits an adjacent opposing character, that character modifies attack -2 until your next turn. Then it has a special on its defense on its last click, which is sub boss stop toughness. So on its own, this guy's okay, not great. Again, we suffer from a 50 point having a 10 attack value, which is okay, not great as a secondary guy. He does have a stop click, and we'll look at the Bebop later on that shifting focus is into, and you guys can make your own determination on whether or not this is a guy you'd want to run. Next up, we have Rocksteady, number 10 in the set. He's also shifting focus 1, 50 points, 3 range, single target. Has shifting focus trait, has special on its attack, special on its defense. The special on its attack is kick, knockback. When Rocksteady hits an adjacent opposing character, that character modifies its attack value -1 until your next turn. And then special on its defense is sub boss stop toughness, which is on his last click. Again, okay, not great. 19 defense up close on this Rocksteady. 19 defense up close on Bebop. So for 100 points of your team, if you're running them together, and then you can shifting focus around both the animal keywords, but that 3 is not astounding, and these guys aren't doing anything game breaking, so probably just in sealed, or if you're doing like TMNT theme night or something, is when you're going to run these guys. Next up, we have Stone Warriors. 4 range, single target, 6 movement with sidestep, 10 attack, precision strike, 17 defense, invulnerability, 3 damage, 45 points. Has a reduced to rebel trait, which is after they're KO'd, you get to put a heavy object in their square. Again, not great in the vast spectrum of things, but cheap invulnerability within this set is going to prevent you from just taking damage from a bunch of different characters. You figure the foot soldiers, basically all the foot soldiers deal 2 damage, so you're not going to have to worry about those. Next is number 12, Foot Soldier Hammer, 15 points, has that swarm at the edges at the screen's edge trait, has that 2D movement special on its movement. Then it has a special on its attack called Hammer, which is Quake. When Foot Soldier hits with an attack roll of 11 or 12 after resolution, you may give one hit character an action token. This is an important distinction from InCap, where, you know, if you assign them a second action token and they don't have willpower, or you would assign them a third action token, you're not dealing them push damage. It's just you give it to them, and that's it. Next up is number 13, Foot Soldier Dynamite. Has the Swarm at the its screen's edge trait, 2D movement special, and Dynamite special on its attack. Its attack power is Dynamite, Energy Explosion. When Foot Soldier uses it, hit character 60 points or less can't make attacks during your next turn, or during their next turn. He's got a 4-range single target. That's a cool ability. With a 9 attack, I'm not sure how much you're gonna hit with it, and then 60 points or more, or I'm sorry, 60 points or less, you're generally talking about secondary attackers or you know, like support figures. However, with the popularity of like that PJ Bolin style of Blackbird Jet team, where it's a bunch of 50-point Wolverines and stuff. An Energy Explosion from this guy, if you're able to pump up the volume to 12, with a +3, and stop his entire team from doing something for 15 points, might be something there. This Foot Soldier is actually the one where I'm like, there might be a there. Next up is Foot Soldier Elite Axe. This guy is 25 points, slightly better, but again, we're running into the problem of I got other ways to spend. I would rather have a Moira McTaggart, but this guy has a trait called Sacrifice Swarm. When an adjacent friendly character is KO'd or takes 3 or more damage but isn't KO'd, give Foot Soldier Elite an opportunity token. Free, remove an opportunity token to either make an attack or move up to 2 squares. So it's an extra, not phrased as sidestep, or a free attack. So that could be good. Then it has special on its attack called Axe, which is Blades, Claws, Fangs. Foot Elite's attack rolls of 11 or 12 are critical hits. And it has Empower, so running multiples of this guy aren't really going to help if you're rolling for blades, but still pretty cool. 25 points for 10 attacks, decent. These guys are okay, not great. Then we have a Foot Soldier Elite Boomerang. Again, he has that Sacrifice Swarm trait. Then he has a special on his attack called Boomerang. When Foot Elite would miss a ranged attack by 1 or 2, once per turn you may reroll that attack roll. So same as the other one. This one does have a 3 damage to start off with. Has Energy Shield Deflection, 10 attack, and enhancement. These guys aren't bad. They're just not great. For 15-point enhancement, I can run Eric Masterson. So again, they're getting outdone by other things. Then we have Sergeant Granitor. He is 75 points, so a lot more points than anything else we've seen so far. Has the soldier keyword, but I don't think ultimately this guy's going to find himself on too many competitive teams. 5 range, single target. Has a trait called Level Boss Flashing Orange. First time each game, Sergeant Granitor would be KO'd. Instead, turn him to click number 5. Then heal him 1 click if the opposing force has 1 or 2 characters on it. Otherwise, heal him 2 clicks, Protected Pulse Wave. That's not bad. A bunch of characters have this Level Boss Flashing Orange trait. It's pretty cool. Can be devastating. If your opponent really dumped a lot into trying to KO him and didn't realize you had that. Then he has a special on his attack called Flame Gun. Penetrating Psychic Blast. When Sergeant Granitor hits an opposing character with ranged attack, after resolution, deal 1 penetrating damage to each opposing character adjacent to that target. So it's sort of like how Energy Explosion and Psychic Blast work before the 2017 rules change. So that's pretty good. I would say 300-point constructed, there's no place for this guy, especially with that 7 movement sidestep for 75 points. You can get way better figures for 75 points now. And the 10 attack. But within the set, if you're playing sealed or something where it has to be TMNT, that impervious is really important. You can avoid a lot of damage in this set without the roll, and then you throw the roll on top of it. Really gives your opponent something they got to work through. Next is Bebop the Uncommon One, number 17 in the set. This is the other half of the Shifting Focus Bebop. 6 range, single target, and this time he is shifted from a close combatant to a ranged combatant. having range combat expert, 10 attack with special, 17 defense, energy shield deflection, 3 damage. His special on his attack is called Spatial Warp Gun. When Bebop hits with a ranged attack, after resolution you may place each hit character up to 2 squares from their current square. Placing opposing figures in places where they might not want to be is always pretty good. It gives animal keywords a ranged combatant. I don't think they're really going to be too competitive, but it's something to think about. And shifting focus, you know, from a ranged guy, and then when you get into the fray, shifting focus to the up close guy. When you take both of those together, it's greater than the sum of its parts. Next we have Rocksteady the Uncommon, number 18 one. This is the second half of the Rocksteady shifting focus. 6 range single target, 7 movement with running shot, 10 attack with special, 17 defense, energy shield deflection, 3 damage. His special on his attack is energy explosion with 3 targets. So that's pretty cool, able to target 3 characters. Then we have, we're getting into the rares. This is Foot Elite Hammer, 45 points, has that Sacrifice Swarm trait. Then it has a special on its movement is Temporary Footboard, free, move up to 3 squares in a direct path, so that's pretty cool. Then it has a special on its attack called Hammer Quake. When Foot Elite hits with an attack roll of 11 or 12, after resolution you may give 1 hit character an action token. So pretty cool there. This one does have leadership. For the soldier keyword, 45-point leadership isn't bad, although there seems to be a lot of low point soldier keywords that have leadership, so he's kind of getting overshadowed with that. Doesn't do anything fantastic. There's better ways to spend 45 points, but he is pretty cool. So there's that. Then Foot Elite Dynamite has the Sacrifice Swarm trait, has the Temporary Footboard special on its attack, on its movement. Then it has a special on its attack called Dynamite Energy Explosion. When Foot Elite uses it, hit characters of 60 points or less can't make attacks during their next turn. So same thing as its 15-point version. You do go from a 9 attack to a 10 attack, but if you're just using them to make it so that your opponents can't do stuff, you know, I'd rather go with the 50 or the 15-point version and get a few more perplexes in there. So you figure I can run 3 of those 15-point versions and like a couple mass perplexers like Golden Skull to make sure that their attack values are high, and go at it like that. Then we have General Tragg at 95 points, 6 range single target, 7 movement with charge, 11 attack, a lot more respectable, with a special, 18 defense with impervious, 3 damage with leadership. He has that level boss flashing orange trait, so that's cool. He gets to come back. Then he has a special on his attack called Rockalizer Ray, free. Choose an opposing character within range and line of fire. If that character is adjacent to a piece of blocking terrain, make a close attack targeting it regardless of adjacency. Modify attack and damage value +1. That's pretty cool. Again, I can think of a few maps where you could really get a lot of use out of that, but ultimately I don't think this guy's going to do too much at 95 points. That's a cool trick, but not a cool enough trick. But in sealed or TMNT only games, that impervious for 3 clicks in a row followed by 3 clicks of invuln are really big. Then we have Bebop the Rare, number 22. He is 100 points, has a 7 movement with running shot, 10 attack with a special, 18 defense with invulnerability and indomitability, 3 damage, 5 range single target. Has that level boss flashing orange trait, has another trait called Stop Getting in the Way. Wonder if he knows the way. But anyway, once per turn, when a friendly character within 3 squares named Rocksteady hits an attack that's part of a costed action after resolution, Bebop may make an attack. If he does and misses, deal that Rocksteady 1 unavoidable damage. So free attack at with the possibility of hitting your own Rocksteady. So it's up to you if you need that or not. You know, you'll have to weigh that the odds of hitting in the game. Then he has another special on his attack called Time for the Pirate Whip. Incapacitate. When Bebop uses it after resolution, hit characters are dealt 1 penetrating damage and can't move or make attacks during your next turn. During their next turn. The Incap's okay. I really like Incap. The 1 penetrating damage after resolution is better, and the can't move or make attacks during their next turn is great. That's really key for a lot of things. 100 points is pretty expensive. 10 attacks pretty low. So I don't know how much you're ultimately going to get out of this, but he is animal, he is pirate. So we might be able to work something out. I don't know. Golden Skull's popping into my mind, where he's pirate keyworded also. So you know, those guys might have to be friends for a little bit, and I'll see what I can do. Next one is Rocksteady, number 23 in the set. He's also rare. I feel like I've said the same like 3 or 4 names a bunch of times in a row. That's not WizKid's fault. They're trying to give us a bunch of different versions of video game versions of them all in one, so that's why it feels kind of cramped in there. But anyway, 100 points, 3 range single target, 10 attack with charge. I'm sorry, 7 movement with charge, 10 attack with special, 18 defense with invuln, and indomitability, 3 damage with exploit weakness. And again, this Rocksteady and the Bebop right before it both had invulnerability and indomitability. There's really lack of willpower in this set, plus lack of high damage characters. So these guys are really good in sealed or TMNT only games. But he has that level boss flashing orange trait. Then he has a stop getting in the way trait, which is the same thing but for Bebop instead. Then he has that special on his attack, which is Time for the Pirate Sword. Blades Claws Fangs. When Rocksteady uses it, increase the result of the D6 roll by the number of action tokens on the target. So you know, you're rolling for Blades Claws Fangs. You're dealing, you know, penetrating damage with the exploit weakness. That's not a bad thing. You know, that's pirate keyword, animal keyword, so both pretty cool there. The pirate one's cool. It's not super useful. Animal one's good. Next we have Shredder. I think he's probably one of the best ones in the set, but again, I don't think he's gonna ultimately be on too many teams. There's one figure that I think has a lot of meta potential. Shredder, sadly, not it. He's good. He'll be really good, but he's not quite there yet. He's 80 points. Starts off with a 7 movement with charge, 12 attack, Blades Claws Fangs, 17 defense with Mastermind, and indomitability, 4 damage with Shape Change. Has the mystical keyword, which is really good keyword. He has one trait that's an extra 20 points, and this thing is, you need to pay that extra 20 points. It is illusionary double, free if no friendly character named Shredder Illusion is on your force. Generate a TMNT UP number 5 Shredder Illusion. Your opponent doesn't score that character. So you're paying the 20 points that you would have paid for the Shredder Illusion before, but your opponent gets, when it gets KO'd, they don't score the 20 points. So it's basically playing keep away. This guy's got Mastermind, so you can just Mastermind that damage right away, and then just generate a new one next turn. It's awesome. It's a good trait. Then he has a special, another trait called Game Boss Flashing Red. The first two times each game Shredder would be KO'd. Instead, turn him to click number 6, then heal him 1 click if an opposing force has 1 or 2 characters on it. Otherwise, heal him 2 clicks, protected pulse wave. That's pretty awesome. Then he has a special on his damage for his last 3 clicks called Retro Mutagen Ray. Outwit. When Shredder uses it, the target character can use Earthbound Neutralize until your next turn. That takes a ton of stuff away from a figure, so that's pretty good there. The shape change is good. The mastermind, like creating your own mastermind fodder, is good. This guy's really good. I want to say he's so good. He'll if you build the correct team, you'll be able to win some local tournaments with it. But he's not. I don't think he's ultimately going to end up being meta. I really hope somebody proves me wrong, but I don't think so right now. Next up, we have Splinter, number 25 in the set. He's 60 points. Has the animal keyword again, and there's a reason for me mentioning that because he has an 18 defense with defend and leadership for 60 points. That 18 defense is pretty respectable, and then you can perplex it up from there. He has one trait, which is follow me turtles. Whenever a friendly character with TMNT keyword uses sidestep, it may move up to 3 squares instead of 2. A lot of the turtles in this set have sidestep or some variant of it, so this grants him an extra movement. Then he has a special on his attack for his last 2 clicks called Pizza Reward. When an adjacent friendly character hits one or more opposing characters after resolution, heal that friendly character 1 click. So that might be good on certain animal keywords, might be good on, but it doesn't have to be like that. Could work. He doesn't need to share a keyword with him to use that. Now that's tucked all the way back on his last 2 clicks. He does have an 11 attack with precision strike at 60 points. That's pretty good. The defense pretty good. He has leadership. He's only got a 6 movement though with leap climb. So this guy's okay. Not great, but he's decent. Next we have Karai at 75 points. She has the martial artist and ruler keyword. 8 movement with special, 11 attack with blades, claws, fangs, 17 defense with combat reflexes, and 2 damage with range combat expert. Has improved movement, ignores elevated terrain and hindering terrain. Has one trait called Rebuild the Foot Clan in the Old Ways. Leadership. When building your force, friendly characters 75 points or less with the martial artist keyword also have the Foot Clan keyword. That is a trait you might be able to break if you can find the right combination of martial artist keywords. I don't think there's anything right now that would be too broken in modern. You might be able to do something with it in golden age, but I would try to get her just in case there's something that's really good, like 2 really good martial artist figures that you can put together. But that's pretty good. Then she has that special on her movement called Teachings of Ashai no Himitsu. Sidestep Stealth. When Karai uses Sidestep, if no opposing character has line of fire to her, when given the action, she can move up to 4 squares instead of 2. 4 square Sidestep's just awesome. 75 points just on her dial merits. I'm not going to run her, but I would try to get one just for this rebuilding the Foot Clan in the Old Ways trait, in case something really good comes down the line that you think she'd go well with. And it just grants you a name theme team at that point. That could be a big thing. Next up we have Baxter Stockman at 80 points. He has the level boss flashing orange trait. He has a special on his attack called Sticky Fingers Ray. Telekinesis. When Baxter Stockman uses it, modify his attack value +2. His attack value is already an 11, so that takes you up to 13, which is pretty respectable. Has Outwit. Has the monster keyword, so we're bringing some Outwit to that monster keyword as well as TK. So that's pretty good there. He also has Scientist keyword. He's not really bringing anything new to the table for them, but for monsters he is, and animal. And then he has 6 range single target, flight ability, 9 movement with sidestep. This is one of the only TMNT villain, or this is the only TMNT villain that has just outright TK. So that's good. Again, animals and monsters are this guy's thing. If you're looking for a TKer and an outwitter, supply short on them to begin with. Animal, we just got a Cosmo again that has TK and outwit, but monsters, to the best of my knowledge, you don't have that yet. So here's a different option if you want something for that. Then we have Henaten the Rat King. I love this guy. Whiz kids must love characters named the Rat King. They haven't made a bad one yet, and I'm thankful for it. He's 50 points, has 7 with special, 10 attack, 17 defense with super senses, and 3 damage with a special. Has future keyword, no real super great keywords after that. He has hole in a trait called Hole to the Rat Lair. At the beginning of the game, place a hole marker in any square at least 5 squares away from starting area. At the beginning of your turn, if no character occupies the square with the hole marker and less than 3 giant rat bystanders are on the map, generate a giant rat bystander in a square adjacent to the hole. That's awesome. So you're getting free minions. Then he has a special in his movement called I Control All the Rats in the World, Sidestep. When the Rat King moves at least one square and ends adjacent to an opposing character, after resolution, all friendly bystanders named Giant Rat may move one square. That's pretty awesome. You know, you got to put them into a little danger to have that pulled off, but free extra movement to go along with the rats. We'll look at them here in a minute, but they have sidestep, so that gives them 3 square sidestep, which is awesome. Then he has My Children Are Legion, exploit weakness, and leadership. That's a special on his damage. For 50 points, this guy's awesome. He brings the rat tokens. The rat tokens have some cool stuff on their own, but they also can act as mastermind fodder. They can block lines of fire because they end up being standard size. You know, let's just look at them rather than me talk about them. They have a 3 movement with sidestep, 8 attack, 15 defense, 1 damage with a special. The special is called Swarm of Rats. If Giant Rats is adjacent to 1 or more friendly bystanders named Giant Rat, modify its attack, or modify its damage value +1. If it's adjacent to 2 or more of them, also modify its attack +1. So you get a 9 attack for 2 damage for free, and you can potentially have 3 of them on a turn, on a team. And if you were running, like, let's say hypothetically 3 of these Rat Kings, you could have 9 of these giant rats just roaming around. They work great for blocking lines of fire because they're standard size. They, tie figures up. They're great for mastermind fodder. The giant rats make this guy worth it. And then you tack on the exploit weakness and the leadership that he brings. I like him a lot. Now we're moving along to the turtles. These are super rares. They are 80 points and 60 points each. I'm just going to really talk about them once. So at 80 points, Donatello starts off with an 8 movement with charge and the dolphin symbol. 11 attack with a special, 18 defense with invulnerability, 3 damage with prob. So again, in TMNT sealed or in TMNT only, that invulnerability makes him pretty good. Then he has 2 traits. One is called Tales of the TMNT. At the beginning of the game, for all characters that can use this trait, choose a tail trait that a friendly character could use. This game, all friendly characters with a tail trait can use the chosen trait until instead of any other tail trait. So that's pretty cool there. His particular tail trait is called Tail Mazes and Mutants. This character has protected, opposing, perplex, opposing probability control. That's pretty powerful. I wish it was all friendly characters gained the tail rather than just characters that had a tail trait. But that would be pretty broken. So, but ultimately, I think because it's restricted to only characters with the tail trait, and these guys are okay but not great. This guy ends up being okay but not great. That special on his attack is called Master of the Bowstaff. When Donatello hits an opposing character with an attack after resolution, choose 1. Give the hit character an action token, or the hit character modifies defense -1 until your next turn. So that's pretty cool there. It brings probability control to the table for animal keywords, which might be a thing. Scientists don't have a lot of probability control, so that's a possibility. But 80 points is a little expensive when you knock him down to 60 points. He starts with Outwit, which scientists have in droves, so why would you be picking this guy? Next we have Leonardo. HC Realms only has him listed at 80 points, so I don't have one, so I don't know if he's really only got 1 point line or not. Has a 4 range single target, 8 movement with flurry, and the dolphin symbol, 11 attack with Blades, Claws, Fangs, 18 defense with invulnerability and indomitability, and a 3 damage. He has 2 traits, that Tales of the TMNT, and he has his tail is called Requiem. Whenever another friendly character is KO'd by an opposing character, heal this character 2 clicks. I'm not generally a fan of paying points for things that I only get to use if something bad happened. You know, because hopefully if I'm playing well, I never have to use it. So why am I paying points for something that I'm hoping to never have to use? Then his special on his damage is called Lead My Brother's Leadership. When Leonardo uses it on the result of a 6, you may also remove an action token from another friendly character with the TMNT or TMNT ally keyword anywhere on the map. That's pretty powerful there. Has the animal keyword. A lot of animals have Flurry and Blaze Claw's Fangs, so he's ultimately not bringing too much to the table for them. I think he's probably the worst out of the turtles for the super rares. Next we have Raphael. Again, 80 points, 4 range single target, 10 movement with charge and the dolphin symbol, 11 attack with Quake, 18 defense with special, and 3 damage with exploit weakness. Has the Tales of the TMNT trait, and then his tail is called Vision Quest. Empower, improved targeting, characters, ignores characters and hindering. That ignores characters would be so good on so many other figures, but all these TMNT figures only have a 4 range, so I don't know how much you're really going to get out of it. I think that's going to be a wasted tail to pick. Then he has that special on his attack called Pin You Down. When Raphael hits an opposing character, that character gains immobile until your next turn. It can't be moved or placed. That can be pretty powerful, but that's tucked back on your last 3 clicks. And then he has that special on his defense, which is Leave My Family Alone. Invulnerability, adjacent friendly characters with TMNT ally or TMNT with the TMNT or TMNT ally keyword, modify defense +1. So invuln makes him good automatically, and sealed +1 defense, which really ups a lot of them to 18 or 19. And you saw there's a lot of 10 attacks in this set. So within the set, that's a good power, but ultimately not good for constructed. Then we have Michelangelo at 80 points, same basically stat line, 4 range single target, 10 attack with charge and the dolphin symbol, 11 attack with a special, 18 defense with invulnerability and indomitability, and a 3 damage with enhancement. Has the tail of the TMNT trait, and then his tail is into dimension 9, no, 11, I don't know. It's late, the Roman numerals are throwing me off. Which is stealth, improved movement, ignores elevated and hindering terrain. That could be pretty cool depending on what you want to do. Stealth with improved with ignores hindering is just phenomenal. So then he has a special on his attack called Booyakasha, which is when Michelangelo hits an opposing character with an attack, after resolution choose 1 smoke cloud at no cost, which is awesome, or friendly characters modify attack value +1 until your next turn. Both are good. Free smoke cloud's just awesome, generally, in my opinion. So smoke cloud on an animal theme team might not be too bad. Again, in sealed, bringing invulnerability to the table is good. This guy doesn't have a place in 300 point constructed, though, ultimately. Now we have the one that I think has the best chance at making the jump to competitive, and this is Heroclix. She's 90 points, has 0 range, which kind of sucks, 11 movement with hypersonic speed, 10 attack with precision strike, 18 defense with super senses, and 3 damage with shape change. Has the animal and martial artist keywords, also assassin, but animal keyword. Then has improved movement, ignores elevated, ignores hindering. So you can play Arthur's Castle till you're blue in the face. Not gonna bother her too much. She has 2 traits. First one's called Cursed Blades of Vengeance. When Heroclix hits an opposing character, give them a curse token. Characters with 1 or more curse tokens modify attack -1, and any attack made by those characters that misses, all targets become a critical miss. So you're taking damage if you attack and you miss. That is huge, monumental. She only has an 18 defense, So, you know, you're going to want to try to get her defense up, but it's, you know, it's any attack. So you can just hit with her, run away, and let's say you have somebody else on your team that has like a 20 defense or something, and you just let your opponent swing away and KO themselves. Then she has a special, another trait called Catch Tiger by the Tail. At the beginning of the game, choose an opposing character. Alopex modifies attack +1 when attacking the chosen character, and modifies defense +1 when attacked by the chosen character. So that's pretty cool. And then she has a special on her movement called Faster Than the Eye Can Follow, Charge Flurry. So I really think she's gonna be. She has a chance. Out of everybody in this set, she has the best chance. Next here we have Krang, 130 points, which is a huge ask for 300 point competitive. 8 range, single target, 8 movement with sidestep, standard boot symbol, 11 attack with psychic blast, 18 defense with invincibility and indomitability, and 3 damage without wit. Has 2 traits and a special on his damage. The first trait is Game Boss Flashing Red, so he gets to come back twice. His other trait is called a Ruthless Alien Conqueror. When Krang KOs an opposing character, put a conquest marker in a square they occupied. Opposing characters modify their attack value and defense value -1 for each conquest marker within 3 squares of them. That can be pretty cool, but you're talking about getting a lot of work done in order to get enough of those on the board that your opponent's going to have a hard time avoiding them. And then his other one, his special on his damage is called Recovered the Turnstone. Shape change, but succeeds on a 4 through 6. Perplex, but modifies the combat value +2 or -2. Opposing characters can't use Perplex or Shape change. So that's pretty cool. For 130 points, no movement attack, really kills him, and only a 3 damage. With no way to increase his own stats, it's just going to kill him. Robot keyword, which is okay. If I could run him with Justin Saford, who's been retired for a while now, maybe we'd have something here. But 130 points, this guy's a no-go. There's no way I'm running him. In sealed, in sealed, his defense is going to make him survive. So pick him up in sealed. But in 300 point modern, this guy has no place. Next thing, we're talking about the chases. Each chase has 2 point values, 100 points and 75 points. I'm only going to be talking about him at 100 points. First up, we have Leonardo. And he has a 10 movement with charge, 11 attack with a special, 17 defense with toughness and indomitability, and a 3 damage with leadership. He has improved movement, ignores characters, has a trait called auto-scrolling skateboard. At the beginning of your turn, you may move Leonardo 1 square free, move up to 3 squares in a direct path. So you get basically 4 free 4 movement sidestep, so to speak. Then he has a special on his movement called Jump Kick, Hypersonic Speed. When Leonardo uses it, he can use improved movement, ignores elevated, hindering terrain, but modifies his speed value -3. His speed value is a 9 at that point, so 6 isn't wowing anybody. And then special on his attack called Katana, Blades, Claws, Fangs, free, move up to 2 squares. Only activate this if Leonardo misses with a close attack this turn. So you have a chance with this Leonardo to move 3, 4, 5 squares for free. If you were to miss with your attack roll, which you really don't want to do. And then you have your charge, so I'm sorry, 4 squares. So you have a chance to move 6. And then you have your charge, which will be 5. So you have an 11 square movement, which is pretty good. There's just other things with that can move that many squares and attack for free anyway. You know, case in point, 50 point Hulk from the Mighty Thor Fast Forces has a 12 attack, can move 11 squares and quake for free. And he's half the points and does 1 more damage and has 1 more attack. So these guys are good, don't get me wrong, but they're not great. You know, you're getting to move that 11, but or I'm sorry, 9, but you know, you figure there's a bunch of characters now that are just swatting you from 12 squares away. So, you know, the likelihood of getting in there with a close combat guy is not very good. Michelangelo has basically, I believe they all have the same stat lines. They just have a different special on their different clicks. But anyway, he has and Michelangelo has perplex and support, where Leonardo had leadership. He has improved movement, ignores characters, has the auto-scrolling skateboard trait, has a special on his movement called jump kick, and it's the same hypersonic speed special that Leonardo had. And then he has a special on his attack called Nunchaku's Flurry. Each time Michelangelo hits an opposing character after resolution, you may give that character an action token. Again, this is not worded like in cap, so if they have 2 and you go to assign one and then another one, you're not dealing them 2 clicks of damage. You're just, you know, giving them action tokens that they don't actually get assigned. Same problem. I'm running 50-point Hulk instead. Next one is Raphael. He has the same stat lines, except he has Battle Fury. He has improved movement, ignores characters, has the auto-scrolling skateboard trait, has the jump kick special on his movement, and then his special on his attack is called Size. Flurry, when making close attack, Raphael deals penetrating damage. So that's pretty good. I'd say this guy's better than the other two just because you have that 9 movement Flurry, which is pretty awesome, and you deal penetrating damage when you do it. So it's 6 damage. But for 100 points, I can run 2 Hulks, I can run 2 Wolverines. I'm just dealing way more damage with those. So again, this guy gets overshadowed by characters that are half his points. And then Donatello, he has Outwit, has the improved movement, ignores characters, auto-scrolling skateboard, jump kick special on his movement, and then his special on his attack is called Bow Staff, knockback, giant reach 2. This guy's not terribly great other than the Outwit. Now in Sealed, you know, the Outwit's good, the hypersonic speed's good. So in Sealed, all these guys are really good. You're not going to find somebody that's going to be able to move that far in a Sealed game. They're not going to move farther than them, other than Alopex. So these guys are good, but in 300 constructed, they're not going to get it for you. Hopefully somebody proves me wrong, because I love me some TMNT, but nothing great there. We're not going to cover the bystander tokens because they're actually part of the Fast Forces, and I'm just reviewing the main set. Alright guys, so let me know in the comments below how you feel about this review, if I was spot on with my picks, for if I liked them or if I didn't, or if I was really wrong, let me know that too. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, give it a share. It really helps keep me motivated to make these videos. That's all I have for you guys today. As always, please remember that it's only a critical miss if you don't have probability control.